What's up, whiskey folks? Happy Whiskey Wednesday. Long time no see. I'm just getting set up here right now. I do have, something special to open up today, which I'm looking forward to. Just 1 second here. Let me make sure this is working properly. Which I'm looking forward. Oh, there was feedback. I thought so. Okay. All right. Looks like we should be working live here. How's it going, everybody? Not every day, it's not every Wednesday that I do a Whiskey Wednesday live stream, but when I came back from my trip, a package was waiting for me. And this package came from the one and only Foodquig, our good friend up in Victoria, which is in British Columbia, Canada, out on, I believe, Vancouver Island, if I'm not mistaken. And he generously sent me a box of what I'm assuming made a box of whiskey samples find their way here. So I'm going to open this up tonight and see what we got, and we'll probably taste one or two of them. Because why not? I'm always curious, and when Quig sends me, we've been doing these swaps for, God, it feels like a couple of years now, and a lot of them have been usually sends me Canadian whiskey that I can't find here in the United States, and then I usually will send him a couple bourbons or some scotch or something like that that he can't get his hands on up in Canada. So we've been doing this for a while, usually a couple times a year, and we'll do a couple lives a year or two. I'm warming things up tonight with a Four Roses OBSF barrel proof cask, which is really, really great. Quite enjoying this one so far. And let me just see what's going on in the chat. I see we got a couple folks chatting already, which is awesome. Always great. First in the door, Jupiter, Florida. It's Gerbic. What's up, man? Good to see you. Paris, France. My good buddy across the pond. It is Greg, Whiskey Guide. Couldn't sleep well after, but cheers. Good to see you, Greg. East Texas, it's Daniel in the house. What's up? How are you? Good to have you here, man. Always good to have Daniel here. Oh, Canada is right. Sylvan Susie. Saucy? Susie? What's up, Sylvan? Good to have you. Awesome to have you join us for this chat. Are you in Canada proper? I'm assuming what I'm going to be opening tonight is probably going to be some Canadian stuff, so we're going to find out. Jack the Pickled Hound, New York City. It ain't Laphroaig 10 gas strength. That is a fact. Boy, and a welcome one at that. That stuff, packs a punch, man. Creeps up on you a bit. For those of you who did not catch that stream and are interested, feel free to go check that out. It should be posted from yesterday. And Sylvan is in New Brunswick. Awesome. I think you might be the first person from New Brunswick. I know we have Ontario, Alberta, British Columbia, and Quebec usually pretty covered. So great to have you. Thanks for swinging in on this kind of impromptu Whiskey Wednesday live stream. What's everybody sipping on tonight? Looks like we got 6 folks in already, which is awesome. Cool. We'll give it a couple more minutes, see if anybody else shows up. This is not my normal time. I don't expect the Tuesday crew to be here in full effect, but always good to spend a little more time, especially as I was sick, and then I missed all of last week while I was gone, so it's playing a little bit of catch up, trying to hang out with everybody and see what's going on. And anybody sipping anything good tonight? Like I said, I'm doing a Four Roses OBSF bourbon, which is one of those private cask barrel proof picks, which are not always that easy to get, especially these days. I feel like maybe 2 or 3 years ago, it shifted from you could kind of walk into a store and, you'd still see some of these on the shelf. Now it's like, yeah, never do. At least not around my parts. I never saw them when I was out in Philly. I didn't see them in anywhere here in Chicago really either. So London's in the house. It's James Morgan. What's up, buddy? Long time no see. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a good day. All right. So here's what we got going on. As I mentioned, when I came home, I had this giant box sitting here waiting for me. It's got a hefty weight to it. So we're going to crack this thing open and see what it has in it. It is from Canada, and it is from a Mr. Foodquig, which should be cool. Delhi India's in the house. What's up, Mahir? Awesome to have you here, sir. Sipping some Laphroaig 10. There you go. Don't mess around. Paul in Montreal in the house. What's up, Paul? We got some Canadian whiskey. Yeah, box of goodies indeed. What's up, Trooper? It's the Foodquig package. They don't disappoint. All right, let me try to do this without stabbing myself. See what the Quig has made find its way here to Chicago. I'm hoping and expecting that this is going to be another healthy amount of Canadian whiskeys, because that guy, and shelter points. I think I still have a good amount of shelter points. Oh boy. Yeah. We got packaging peanuts. We got a whole mess of samples here. All right. Here we go. So we have a Waterford organic. It looks like Gaia. This is one of those Tewa Irish whiskeys, 50% ABV. I've never had any of these Waterfords. This will be curious to try. There's so damn many of them. Looks like it might have leaked a little, but not too bad. There's so damn many of these. I don't know which one to buy, and they're really pricey. These things go for like around $100 around here, which is pretty intense. So we got a Waterford. What else do we have here? Here's another Waterford. Waterford Single Farm. Looks like Barman Sand Edition 1.1, 50 years or 50%. Don't quite know what that says, but it's another Waterford. So looks like we got Waterfords. Oh, this is a Wolfburn 375, 46%. This one's only about half full. I wonder if this leaked out or something like that, or if he didn't have much left, but it looks like this is a Wolfburn. I've not had many of those. All right. What else we got here? Here we go. Shelter Point, double-barreled, batch 6. Looks like Blackberry wine cask, 46%. Oh, man. There you go. All right. Here's another Wolfburn. Wolfburn Northland. Now, these Wolfburns are actually single malt scotches. 46%. Right. This is a distillery I've been really interested in. They're located, I think about as far north as you can go, straight north, right in the middle of Scotland on the mainland. So I think they're like one of the most northern distilleries, outside some of the stuff that's out on the islands. All right, that's 5. Boy, there's a lot more in here. Jesus. Method and Madness single grain. This looks like 46%. Then there's some interesting floaties in here. Single grain. Okay. I haven't had a lot of single grains. Method and Madness. I'm not sure if this is Canadian or not. Check that out. And what else we got here? Shelter Point. Cast Strength. 57.8%. All right, man. He actually recently did a video. I think he visited Shelter Point again, which is always really cool. And what do we got here? Looks like it says Odd Society, 46% Canadian. Odd Society? I'm not sure. Corn something. Jeez, Quig. There's a lot in here, y'all. Another Shelter Point. This is a single cask, 57.9%, distilled in aged artisanal something. There's a little bit of a leak in here, so some of these got a little obscured, but this looks like it might be another wine cask of some sort. But it definitely has an age on it, which is cool. Oh, we got some more. Another Shelter Point. This is the Smoke Point, 46%. Oh, this must be a peated Shelter Point. Very cool. And here's another Shelter Point. Shelter Point Ripple Rock, 47%. Damn, this guy, man, he gets so many Shelter Points. It's amazing. If you've not heard of them, they're a really, really interesting artisanal distillery up in Canada. Glen Scotia Victoriana, 54.2%. So there's another single malt. And it looks like we got one more. Glen Talker's Octave Cask, 2008, 52.6. Ooh, amazing. I've not had this one before. Octave Cask. Those are like, I think, half the size, a quarter of the size of the quarter casks. So really, really small. So this will be fun. Glen Talker's. Okay. Wow. Well, thank you, Foodquig, once again for all these amazing samples. I am very excited about this. Bunch of new Canadian stuff I've not had. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Jesus. I've been putting together a list of stuff I'm going to send him. If you follow his channel, which I definitely would recommend, he tends to do the samples that I send him on Tuesday or Sunday. So he does like a sample Sunday show. So he usually samples all the stuff that he gets from folks there, but I'm not even sure where to start with this. This Glen Talker's sounds really interesting. But I'm actually, I'll be honest, I'm really interested in this Waterford. I have never had one of these before. I know a little bit about them. So I think I might try one of these tonight. Let me know in the chat. Has anybody had any of this Waterford? I know that they were pretty hyped up, at least among the whiskey folks, when they started dropping here in the United States. All right. Let's see what else is going on here. All right. Troopers heard of Waterford but never tried it. Yeah. I'll tell you a little bit about what I know about it in just a minute. Cohen, Southern California. What's up, man? Trying espresso. All's well in my neck of the woods, says James Morgan. Great to hear. Everything that Shelter Point makes is awesome at Malt Muser, says Paul. Do you get those? Are you able to find Shelter Points in other parts of Canada too? Is it something that's like easily accessible? Method Madness is Irish, says Cohen. Pinch Hitter Whiskey Lounge. What's up? Method Madness is Irish. Okay, thank you guys. I appreciate that. Peter White in Ontario. I was fortunate to get a whiskey in the 6 Shelter Point single cask peat cask strength. Shelter Point, I was sure. Want to get a single barrel proof store pick and Stag Juniors. Yeah, I've heard about those Elijah Craig single barrel store picks. Shelter Quig, says Greg. Yeah, most definitely, man. Yeah, good to have you in the house, Pinch Hitter. Do you have a channel by chance? I think I might be sub. I'm not sure if I'm sub to you or not, but I definitely will. Talker should be interesting. Yeah, definitely. Okay. All right, so we're going to try one of these Waterfords to kick things off. So I think we're going to do this organic Gaia 1.2. So here's the deal with Waterford. They're an Irish whiskey. They really are like fully embracing the whole terroir thing, which essentially, for those who might not know, it's Terroir essentially is a word that connotes like essentially the unique kind of bespoke nature of the whiskey itself. And in particular, it has to do with the barley. The idea is that they have all this different barley strains, or it's grown in different places or different climates. And that has a measurable effect in difference on the flavor. So essentially, what they're saying is, you see this with things like Bruichladdich, some Springbanks. There's other distilleries that kind of talk a little bit about this nature of it. So Waterford, young stuff. They're all like a couple years old, but they're all these different barley strains from different areas within Ireland. And they all have different names. I think they have like 6 or 7 releases, if I'm not mistaken. So this one is called the Gaia. It's 1.2. So I'm assuming this is the second batch of it. I believe these are all like 3 years old. I think they're all like American oak bourbon cask. I'm not really sure. Let me know in the chat if anybody has had this before. Waterford seems to be overpriced for what you're getting. Alberta has tons of them, but I'm not buying. Good point. Yeah, that was kind of one of the things that I've seen. When I see these here in the States, they're like over $100. They're really kind of playing up this organic craft nature of it, which, I'm all for, but man, that's a hell of a price, especially because these are quite young. So they're definitely looking for a particular market with these. And so this will be my first one. We've got a good chat going on about Waterford here. Here's James Morgan. They're all about Terroir at Waterford, but have some well-experienced distillers. Okay, good to know. And Paul's getting his shelter points directly from the distiller. That's great. You guys are lucky. We don't get any of that shelter point stuff here in the U.S. Terroir is today such an overused term in the whiskey industry while it is coming from wine, where in my opinion, it makes way more sense. Okay. I hear you on that. I've not delved too much into it. I do believe that there's actual measurable flavor differences between strains of barley and climate and where they're grown and things like that. That makes sense to me. I don't know how much sense it makes. I don't know how much, or like how much. You say overused. I think I would also add that maybe it's overhyped in terms of the difference, but I've not tried enough of them to really be able to tell. Peter White says shelter point is out of Western Canada only. Order from Alberta easily enough. Okay. So you guys can all get access to it. Yeah, I know. They're out in, I think, on the same island where Quig lives, which is Vancouver Island, I think. Bourbon Bounty. What's up, buddy? Good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. How are things in North Carolina? For those of you who have yet to, take a second, if you're into bourbon, subscribe to Bourbon Bounty and, of course, Greg's Whiskey Guide. Greg knows his stuff. Speaking of Greg, he tried only one Waterford, which is okay, but was not coming across it near an Irish whiskey for me. Spoke about it in a video, and Mark got mad at me. Ruffling feathers out there, buddy. What else we got going on here? Folks saying hi. Cohen says it's another marketing ploy to raise prices on whiskey. All right. Grain strains are more pronounced in bourbon due to the strict laws. Chat kept freezing on Daniel last night. Oh, shoot. Okay. Well, if you guys are experiencing any issues, let me know. So here, you know what? I'm going to just throw this in the old Google machine just so I can give you a little bit more info on this. Gaia, Waterford. Organic Gaia 1.2. Here's what their website has to say. This should be nice. The Arcadian series represents otherworldly gardens of delights. That's the first sentence. When we started the organic project 2015, organic malting barley and Irish was from one farm. So this makes and there was no possibility of single farm origin, but now apparently there is. Okay, so the barley itself in this one, if that is something that anybody wants to know, let's see if we can find out. Yeah, bottled at 50%, which is nice. It looks like, 3 years old, so it's a young whiskey for sure. It's from this Arcadian series. I don't really know what that means. And there's a whole bunch of them. So it's from Overture barley. Anybody know what Overture barley is? So here's here's a bunch of info. Second organic release from Waterford. They use Overture barley grown in 3 distinct soil types from a number of different farms. Okay, so it's the same barley, but from 3 different farms in different soils. They're getting scientific with this. 35% first fill ex bourbon, 29% virgin American oak, 17% ex French wine, and 19% Vin Doux natural casks, aged 3 years, 9 months, and 20 days. What you guys think about that? Damn. So they have like what, 1, 2, 3, 4 maturations on a about 3.5, 3 3/4 year old whiskey. And the barley, the yeast was used for the 136 hour fermentation with the spirit matured in a mix of, first fill bourbon, virgin American oak, ex French wine, and Vin Doux natural casks. All right, y'all. They're definitely hyping this up. They're definitely sharing some serious info on this. Let's see what we get here. All right. So this is the color. Ooh. Wow, that's very interesting. It smells almost like fresh wheat. It smells like you've walked into a place that was just baking bread. Shortbread cookie. There's some like tart fruit notes in it. Caramel, marshmallow, big time. Even little hints of floral. Yeah, it's tough to say that this smells like an Irish whiskey in any way that I could note, but very soft, sweet confectionery nose. And again, this just kind of fresh grain note. Cereal grain. There's some type of fruit in here, though. I can't put my finger on it. Maybe it's almost like a blueberry or strawberry or something. 50%. Gotta like that. Yeah, this one goes for $110. They're trying to be the Octomores of Irish whiskey or something like that with these 3-year-olds. All right, here we go. Happy Whiskey Wednesday, y'all. Waterford Arcadian Series Organic Gaia 1.2. Ooh. Surprisingly pretty rich on the arrival. Sweet, vanilla, caramel, little salty. Ooh. Lemon, citrus, lemon, sharp lemon. Maybe a little bit of a nuttiness too. But then you get this hit of spice, which is definitely coming from the, like the cask. I mean, or the youthfulness of the spirit. It's like a young spirit punch. It's not really like a chili spice or anything. Very peppery, actually. Chocolate on the finish, medium, spicy. Kind of short development. Interesting stuff. Again, let me know in the chat. Anybody had this before? What folks think of this stuff? It's pretty good. It's young. But I'll say, compared to that 5 or the Dingle Batch 5 that I had a couple days ago, which is another very young Irish whiskey, I feel like this is of course double the price, but I feel like the casks are doing a lot of work here. You know that French oak, if you've ever had anything that's been aged in French oak and it's got that kind of creme brulee, rich, kind of not syrupy, but almost like chocolate batter note to it. It's a very heavy influence. I'm picking that up in here. Not bad. Oh, but boy, the casks don't quite, for me, that youthful, woody, spirity punch that this has is just a little too much. You'd hope that something like the French oak cask or the ex-bourbon, which is first fill, like would kind of round that off a little bit. Not quite enough. It's still a bit hot. It's a bit too much punch for what I think is, honestly, for an Irish whiskey, this is very punchy. A little more age, or maybe just a different calibration of the cask. I mean, they're using the virgin oak, which usually brings a lot of spice. I wonder, tone that virgin oak down, ramp up the French oak, or ramp up that first fill bourbon. I don't know what the Vin Du casks are. I'm not sure what that brings, but interesting. This would be, I would not probably drop the $110 on this. And I can only imagine this is going to get more expensive as they maybe age these more. But it's unique. It's very confectionery dessert-like. Complex. As for the barley note, there are a couple Scotch distilleries that I always find that I really pick up the cereal grain in, which really I think leaves a signature flavor for me. Bruichladdich is a classic example of that. I mean, obviously not as much the Octomores, but even the Port Charlottes, there's an unmistakable Bruichladdich kind of cereal grain, fresh sweetness that I pick up in almost any Bruichladdich that I have, even if it's been aged in sherry and things like that. This has a little bit of that. A lot going on. Huh. This drink's much more like a Scotch than an Irish. It's hard for me to really. There's no way I would guess this was an Irish whiskey if they didn't tell me. Let's see what we got going on here. I don't say it's impossible to reflect Laphroaig, but when you shout at it marketing-wise and mix all the different barley particles into one, and then put it in different bottles in wine, what the fuck? Yeah, sure. Definitely. Waterford and Terroir is funny. The young malt is more like Scotch than ours. Jack, yeah, exactly. They should have sold it as a 4-pack of 25 mils so we could sample the difference in a few years. That'll be good. Man, great point. Great point. That would be awesome. I mean, to be able to try 4 different ones of this and really, kind of learn as you go to try to detect the differences in these. But I also have to assume that the different, this is a very specific maturation to, 35%, 29%, 17%, and 19% in different casks. I mean, I can't imagine that they're doing that across the board and holding that constant. I'd have to think that they're probably, they're doing different different casks for different ones of their releases. So I wonder if you could even really notice. I'm assuming the casks are going to have such more impact. Orange distillery is organic and not using gimmicks to sell their stuff and better received than Waterford, but also very pricey. You heard of that one, Greg? It is exactly what I tried to explain in my video after to Mark, says Jack. Biggest impact to grain is malted versus non-malted, soak in water, perfect time, germinate. Yeah. But I don't taste, this doesn't have an unmalted barley. This is a single malt, even though it's Irish. This isn't like a pot still. I'm not picking it up, but that's a good point. Hey, Donner Pass is in the house. Working hard, man. Good to see you, buddy. How are you? Pricey they are indeed, says Greg. What do you think of that one, Greg? I know Remy bought them. We always hear about malted barley, but you can malt any grain. Very true. Cheers to you, sir. James Chang's in the house. What's up, James? How are you? Are you referring to Tewa of the grain used as marketing? But yes, we are. Yeah. Jack's got the Gaia 1.1. Okay. Yeah, I think it is a little too young. I mean, this. Look, I think you can make young whiskey great. Octomore proves that. There are others. Balcones. This one, I think, they do it better than the Dingle that I had, but man, there's a lot of weird stuff going on in here. I like it, but not for the price. Yeah. Vaughn, French sweet wine in a province and shirt. Okay. Mark refused to differ into the different. Who is Mark? Is Mark the person that worked there? I just want to make sure. Yeah. Or organic for that matter. Yes. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Under pass, 200 ml sample said a Waterford would be great, but maybe they were afraid if they did that, no one would buy the full. Yeah. I mean, shit, sell it for the same price. Right? Sell it for whatever these are, $120 or something like that. Daniel's got a new avatar. I don't think I've ever seen a Waterford on the shelf anywhere around me, much less whatever Tewa bottles are out there. Dribs and Drams, what's up? How you doing? Good to see you. I have a bottle of Gaia 1.1 as well. I had it at a tasting and bought it right away. Don't love the 1.2 as much. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I don't. Okay, so that's the guy. He's talking about Mark, the founder there from Brooklotti. Got it. Greg's got both barrels open, man. I like it. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, and again, I know that there's a bunch of these other ones too. I mean, this Gaia is only one of them. I don't know what overture barley is supposed to taste like, obviously, but let's put some water on. There's things to like in this, for sure. I'm gonna do like 2 big drops here. Boy, this is getting chocolatier. Let's see what we get here. Foodquig must have been able to get his hands on these at one of those spirits releases or something out in British Columbia, because or maybe these are prominent out there. I'm not sure. Well, you know what? He actually did give me another one of these. This is Waterford Single Farm. It looks like it says, I don't know. It's a 1.1. Let me see if I can deduce it from. Bannow Island. Barley grown on Bannow Island, County Wexford. Okay. Let me see what I can find out about this one, because maybe what we do here is just a little bit of a comparison. Waterford, Bannow Island 1.1. Let me see if I can find out some info on this. This is one of their first releases. So this is French and American oak. So already we have 2 different maturations across these. Yeah, this one is just 2. It's overture barley again. So, but it's grown on the south coast, Bannow Island farm, dude. Oh man, this is a lot, y'all. And this one's over 120. God damn. And it's from a different series. It's not this Arcadian. It's from some series called Single Farm. So unlike this other one, which was multiple farms, this one is a single farm. Let me grab another glass. Again, I'm not sure we're going to be able to really tell any difference with this just by virtue of the fact that it's literally the maturations are different. But okay, so I mean, color-wise, they're about the exact same. Okay, so this is the Bano Island 1.1. Same barley overture, but it's from one farm. 50%. This is just French and American oak cask, so we're not having the virgin oak in this. Fruity, sweet. Ooh. It's a little bit of like a little bit of funkiness to this, almost like a it's going to sound funny, but almost like kimchi. It has a little bit of that fermented note. I think the age on this is about the same. Arrives about the same. Ooh. Similar. Chocolate, the excellent bourbon cask is really shining through here, and the French oak. But not as complex as this other one. This is a little bit more straightforward chocolate bourbon. Same thing with that wood spice hit you get. Goes into a nice like malted milk ball finish kind of thing though. There's some hints of what that is. Man, it smells so fresh. I really enjoy the noses on both of these. Kind of like, as Whiskey Jason would do it. I can't tell really with the wine cask or with the barley. It's hard to tell any difference. I think I like the Bano Island one a little bit more because the spice is toned down. It's not that I don't like spice. I just feel like it works better with this one. But again, these do not, I mean, these they're very similar to scotches. They're just a bit sweeter. Like the distillate is sweeter. Anyways. Hey, Indy's in the house. What's up? How are you doing? I think that the prices for age statement Waterford is going to be terrifying. It's already expensive as hell. And this is what are you drinking? Oh, so I have the Waterford Gaia 1.2, 50%, and then the Waterford Single Farm Origin Bano Island 1.1. And yes, these are all over $100 in US. Just a little crazy. Aaron and Springbank did 100% better of demonstrating the bare barley for Aaron local barley to show the differences. Ireland can do whatever they want with whiskey, and I would rather start a single malt distillery in Ireland than Scotland. More freedom in Ireland to do what you want. Good point. Yeah, so right around the same probably price as the US, maybe a little bit more. Yeah, these are right. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen them for less than 100. Good to know about the 1.1 Gaia. It has its sale for 74. It's not sold much. Can you text Quig to let him know you're doing the samples? I can't text him. Yeah, I think by now he would be at work anyways, or he's getting close to going to work. But I will definitely let him know about these other samples because I'll probably try to do another live with him before the end of the year. And probably after I get some of my samples his way, and then we'll probably get together and chat a bit about some of these. So keep an eye out for that. Just watched the Laphroaig Casting Batch 13 live. It's actually coming to Vancouver, but for like 115 US. Yeah, it's a lot, man. But it is good. I just sent you an email. Okay, I'll take a look at that. Yeah. Yeah. California, it's 65. God, California. California has such great prices on this stuff. Everybody's kind of chatting back and forth on this, which is cool. Yeah. You know, these are interesting. And I kind of like that they're doing something a little different. But boy, it is not cheap. And I have to say the price on these here in the US is just, it's rough. Here's what I'll say. Both of these are like competent. They're tasty. They have some uniqueness, but boy, the price is what gets you. I think these would be fun to try, but boy, you really gotta you have to do a lot of comparisons just to try to nail down this, I guess my big question is, they're hyping up this, where they source this barley from and all this, but man, at such a young whiskey, these casks are really heavy. I mean, you have first fill bourbon on one of these, you have French oak in these. I mean, these are the type of casks, I mean, that are going to frankly kind of blanket over any of this, the subtleties that you'll get out of the barley, in my opinion. So I do wonder to some degree if different maturations on this, or maybe frankly just a lot more dilution, will help you kind of pick out some of these nuances. But this might be just not my cup of tea. Tribs and drams, can't get them across the border. Oh, you're up in Canada too. Oh, so cheaper. Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you said it was 94 USD. Yeah, that's not bad. I'm not buying it for now, especially from someone insulting me under my video. You gotta, yeah, indeed. Yeah, I hear you. I really don't want anybody's new distillery stuff. In a decade, it will be good. Should have started right after Kilhoman and Glengyle, and then we could have the good stuff now. I hear you on that, Colin. Yeah, I don't particularly think like this is something I need to go run out and buy, but I am enjoying tasting these because there was some hype. I remember some folks were really hyped about this stuff. So I got to give props to Quig for these samples. Thank you, Foodquig, for allowing me to taste some of these Waterfords. I will say this. I would be more satisfied had I paid $20 more for a bottle of this than the $75 I paid for the Dingle small batch 5, which if you caught my review, is the youth on that comes through way too much. And it's got a bunch of maturations too. Sherry, bourbon, PX. Didn't quite do it for me. So, it's all part of the journey. Mike Myers in the house. What up, Mike? Cheers to you, sir. Great to see you. Tina's got a random question. Anyone have a good old-fashioned recipe? My uncle's coming into town and loves them. Well, a good recipe. I feel like the most important thing there is the spirit you use. Personally, I come from the land of where the old fashioned was originated in Wisconsin, but of course that's the brandy old fashioned. I prefer a rye old fashioned. Sazerac, good rye to use. 2 ounces of that. I would say, 1 Demura sugar cube, a nice Luxardo or brandied black cherry, orange peel. That should do it for you. Some folks like to add club soda to the old fashioned to kind of give it some, a little bit more of volume in the drink. Some folks in Wisconsin, especially, they drink it warm. I definitely like those on the rocks personally. Well, it depends. And then, honestly, one thing that I would do, a few taps of ground cinnamon. That's the way I would roll with it, but I don't really have any good actual recipes for those. I think you just got to make sure you get the ratios right. I think that's the most important thing. And honestly, the garnishes matter. Good quality garnishes. Look at the price for Daffmill. Oh, God. I've actually seen an independent bottling of a Daffmill, like a 9 or 10-year-old over at Binny's. I thought about buying it. I don't know enough about Daffmill, but it seems like Daffmill's wild. Very expensive for the age, yeah. Greg's heading off. Take care. Definitely rye old fashioned. Yeah, or a high rye bourbon. So another good bourbon, honestly, to use in a drink like that is the Old Forester 100 proof. That's a good bourbon for an old fashioned too. But Rittenhouse rye is good. I like Sazerac just because it's a little less ABV and it's a little more well-rounded. It's not as spicy, so you kind of get a bit of the best of both worlds in that. It's a little more bourbon-like, I guess. But the sweetness is really the thing. The bourbon old fashioned I find is just too damn sweet. You're already putting a damn sugar cube in this stuff. So, Sazerac, Rittenhouse rye, the bottom bond. Again, I would look at Old Forester 100 proof bourbon is pretty solid for an old fashioned. Again, orange peel, brandied cherry, and maybe Demura sugar. Way too much new distillery young stuff out there on the market. I'm not chasing 3 to 5-year-old whiskeys from Scotland. Does that extend to Octomores too? At Malt Muser. The cinnamon is a great idea. I was planning on using Sazerac Storping. Definitely. Sazerac's perfect for it. Mike Meyer, yeah, definitely baby Saz. Yeah. Yeah, don't use a BTAC Sazerac on it. Avoid that. You don't need to do that. Yeah. I don't drink a lot of old fashions, but if I was making them, yeah, that's probably the route I would take with it for sure. All right. Let's do one more of these. I like this Waterford a bit. Not probably for the reasons that they would want me to. It's just a pretty tasty whiskey, despite being kind of young. The terroir thing, it's who knows. As some folks were saying in the chat, this hyping up the different barleys and stuff, probably. I really can't tell. And obviously the barleys and these are the same, despite one being from a single farm, one being from 3 farms. I mean, it's hard to tell between the casks. The casks, I think, make this more difficult. I guess you'd want to try the new make, maybe. Shit. Karen 12 has gone to $90 here now for the new batch. That's crazy. Damn. In California? That's not good news. If that's the case in California, then we got problems. I really like Kilkerran 12. I mean, you might have to find a shop outstate, Cohen, that'll ship to you. How many times have you had to do that in your life? Not many, I can imagine. Appreciate the help, fellas. I've never made one for it. Yeah, 2 ounces of whiskey, splash of Demura sugar cube, splash of water, muddle the hell out of it. You can even muddle the orange peel if you want to get some of that oil out. Boom. 2 ounces baby Saz. And then put that, leave the orange peel in it. Put it on ice if you want. Top it with a nice Luxardo cherry or brandied black cherry. Yeah, man, you're in business. Has anyone ever seen Eric drunk? I feel like it's close to most. There have been some times. Oh my God. Yeah. Peter White. I'm so sorry, dude. You're right. The other critical element is the damn Angostura bitters. You need the bitters. While I was talking about it, I'm like, am I forgetting something for this old fashioned? 3 dabs, put your sugar cube in, splash of water, 3 dabs of the Angostura bitters, muddle that up, throw in your orange rind orange peel if you want, muddle that in there with it, whiskey, cherry on top. You're good. Thank you, Peter White. I was sitting here talking and I'm like, man, there's something missing here. That's how many times I make old fashions. I just haven't had one in a while. No, it's too much. I don't know, Indy. There's probably been some old. If you go back into the live stream archive, there's probably been a few nights where it got a little bit, but everybody's different with it. I'm one of those people that I get a little animated, but I don't ever really get sloppy. I've never have really, despite being able to probably hold a good amount of liquor. I don't ever get too sloppy. If you watched all of last night's stream, if you want to talk about getting a little loose, Telex and I got pretty loose last night on that Ben Riek. He did, especially, man. He was letting it fly. I was surprised. Telex is usually a little bit more reserved. He was really excited. It was when we got to that 17 septendecim, man. It was awesome. Yes, Angostura bitters is a damn much. Yeah, Daniel, for sure. Yeah, definitely need the bitters. Just finished the bottle of Corey Vracken. I forgot how good it was, dude. Gotta love the Corey. Okay. I have an older bottling of Corey Vracken. I think I have one from. It's behind there. So it must be from 2010, 2011. I picked it up on the secondary market for like $100. Somebody was selling it. I'm excited to crack that open. I'd like to find an older Ugidal as well. For sure. Oh, man. Cohen, stop sharing all this bad news. Yeah, Telex was having a good time last night. Sylvan's heading out back to work. Cheers, man. Great to see you, man. Thanks for stopping into the chat, man. I hope you had a good time. I don't know. That, Peter White, I might have to disagree with you. It's not always, but I mean, I remember being on a 6-hour stream with him once. He was pretty pissed. I jumped on like late in the game, so I didn't go the whole route. But I think for the most part, he holds his own too. Yeah, I mean, it's not a, you can drink as much as you can drink. It's just how it is. But he, yeah, I think for the most part, Alan holds his own. He does such fun live streams. I really enjoy his stuff. He can really go. It's been a long time since I've done a stream that went, Quig and I back in like when I first started doing this, 2017. There were some streams. I think Quig and I went a good 6 hours. I think once or twice. He would go. I've seen him do 8-hour streams. I mean, those are all legendary, especially from like a couple years ago. You don't catch him doing that as much anymore, but man, he used to go hours. Those were fun. I don't know what the longest live stream I've ever done on my channel is, but you know how it goes. See, now that's tempting, Cohen. That's tempting. $100, it's like, damn. No, he is not. I'll tell you, I usually do 1.5 ounce pours. I don't know what this says about me, but generally in a session, once I start getting to like the 7th pour, that's when I start really feeling it. Like, I mean, obviously I'm feeling it the entire time, but that's when I start being like, whoa, okay, I'm going to slow this down. There's a couple times when I would go on the show with Telex, and, you know, by the time we're in that second hour, like I'm ahead of him because I had been, you know, doing my happy hour, and, you know, I'll do sometimes 3 drams on the happy hour if it's, you know, if we're getting real froggy with it. And then I'm on with him, and, you know, we do a sample, and by then it's second hour, I've had like 6 or 7, and I'm like, oh boy. That's usually the limit for me. At least I try to make it that. It's already too much in many cases. That's not my regular, but in the live streams, you know, it's just so much fun. Yeah, dude. Definitely, dude. Yeah. Andy. Yeah, man. Quig's a legend, dude. You can't. What can you say? Speaking of Quig, I got a whole bunch more samples right here in front of me. So yeah, just so what I've done. I had a bit of a. I was finishing recording my review for Friday, which is Octomore. I did that right before the show. The Octomore 10-year-old. So I had a dram of that, and then I had a dram of the 4 Roses cast strength, and now these 2 Waterfords. One was a 2. So I'm about 4 in. So this will be the 5th. And I think what we're gonna do here, I'm gonna try one of these shelter points that he gave me, and maybe some of y'all can help me out here with this. So this one is Shelter Point Double Barrel Blackberry wine. I don't want to mess with that tonight. This is a single cask, 7 years, or is it 5? I can't quite tell. 57.9. And then here's another one, cast strength. I don't know what that one says. No, you know, we'll stick with the Irish. I'm going to do this Method in Madness. This is the Method in Madness. It's a single grain. I can't tell how old it is. It's 46%. Let's try this one out. So the single grain whiskey. Now that's, yeah, these are healthy. So these are what you call Quig size drams. This is going to be a healthy pour. Okay. Method in Madness. Let me just see what I can find out about this. What's everybody else drinking? Anybody got a good pour? Method in Madness Irish whiskey. Okay. Let me see if I can get a little bit of info on what this whiskey is here that we're going to try. It's single grain. It's also Irish, which is cool. Single grain Irish whiskey. I wonder if this is the one. Single grain Irish whiskey. Yep, here it is. So here's the deal on this one. Interesting. So this is bourbon barrels, and then it is finished in virgin Spanish oak casks, which is, I'm assuming, just sherry. Single grain, $72 bottle here in the US. Not cheap. On my main channel, I do a 2-hour live stream every Tuesday night, and I'm done by the end of it. Sometimes I hit 3 hours, but yeah, dude, I feel you on that, man. Totally right there with you. Swamio used to get pretty liquor, but now he's been smoking. Yeah, I think he like converted to a religion or something like that. You know, I know he can't drink anymore. He quit smoking. I don't even know if he does his motorcycle thing anymore. He's joined some type of religious cult. I kid. Good old Swami. You're damn right. Whiskey Tube would not be Whiskey Tube without Foodquig. He's the man. The Ripple Rock's pretty good, he said. All right. He's got a store pick knob in his hand. Excellent. Teeling small batch. Hell yeah. I got to visit Teeling a couple of years ago when I was in Dublin. That was cool. That's the one with that rum finish or whatever? Yeah. Patreon about upcoming picks. Oh, you're talking about mash and drum. Okay. All right, so here we go. Single grain. I've had the Teeling single grain. I've maybe had a couple other ones. Dude, I think that's the one he gave me. I just can't fully read it out here, but it looks like it says it's a 10-year-old. I'm gonna just have to wait until I can hear from him. But it looks like he sent me a 10-year-old. Where is that? Shelter Point. I swear that's not the one. It's this. Nope. Where is this damn Shelter Point? That's the Ripple Rock. Talkers, Jesus Christ. Okay, here it is. I think it says it's... No, that's not it either. Where's the one that I thought just said 10 years old? Here, this one. Shelter Point cast strength 57.8%. I swear to God that says it's 10 years old. Fuck, maybe I should do that instead of this single grain. I don't know, man. Maybe I should do that. No, we'll wait. I'll do all the Shelter Points in like a different show. We're going to do this single. We're going to stick with the Irish. Yeah, man. Yeah, Quig and I usually do. I mean, I know he used to do a lot more, but we usually do like 3 a year, and I think we're getting close to about time to do another. I got to get in touch with him about that. I have to send him more samples soon. So, Drib says, pretty big Shelter Point fan. Haven't had a lot of it. Everything I've tried has been top notch. I just reviewed the 10-year cashman. Is it 57.8%? Do you remember? If it is, I think that might be the one I have here. Terrific jam. You should get this Bull Run 13-year MGP light whiskey finished in Pinot Noir. Bull Run. Interesting. Chug it. Indy's like... Oh, man. You're one of my favorites, bro. Indy's always wild in the chat. It's great. Okay, so here we go. This is Method and Madness single grain American bourbon cask. There's a bunch of stuff floating in this. I wonder if there's some cork in it or something. Here we go. Oh, yeah. Sherry. Fruitiness. Vanilla. Yep, it's the one. Yeah, that's the one he sent me. Sweet. Do it. You're probably not going to find it. And not here in the States, at least. Wow. Okay, this is... You know what single grain whiskey smells like to me? It smells grainy. It's not that sweet kind of freshness that you get out of the barley. It's much more like wheat or like rye. I don't know. It's got this note all its own. Man, there's like sour fruit in here. All right, let's give it a taste. Mm-hmm. Boy, you know right away when you've had a single grain whiskey. It doesn't have the roundedness. It's much more elemental, more it has this kind of different type of sweetness. It's almost like a aspartame or something like that. Aspartame. No. You know what I'm talking about. That fake sugar stuff that they put in soda, like diet soda. And I don't necessarily mean it in a bad way with this. This is actually quite interesting. There's a nice fruit note. Some sherry, vanilla. Nice body. It's got a nice long finish to it. Yeah. I wish there was I wish I could think of the words to use to describe what a grain whiskey tastes like. It's the texture's a little different. It's a bit more drying on the palate. It's drying but effervescent, almost like peat in a certain way, but it's not smoky and it's not peppery. It's sweet. It's I don't know how to describe it. It almost has a texture of like pop rocks in a way, but not like it doesn't have the candy flavor to it, but it just has this kind of effervescence to it. And it's lighter. It's lighter, I think. At least the ones that I've had. This is not bad at all, this Method in Madness. I am not one that usually goes out and actively hunts single grain whiskeys, but one of the best I've ever had is the Teeling. Teeling does a single grain that I think is really, really good. This is right up there with it, though. That's the one you're drinking? God, yeah. It has like it's almost like poppy seed. Mint. I like this for 1 dram. It's something different. Drying but not tannic on the finish. Malted milk balls, almond, some type of sour tart fruit type thing. Maybe like hints of lime. This is good. Right on, Foodquig. It just has that. It has a very distinct nose. It smells like new make in a way. Grain whiskeys kind of smell like new make to me. My nose is not great tonight, but I felt like I was really on point last night. I feel like I'm struggling a little bit with some of these. I think it might just be because they're so different, but yeah, it's the best I can do on this one. Put some water on it. Any of y'all have any single grain whiskeys that you swear by, that you're a big fan of, anything like that? All right, I'm doing a couple drops here. This is 46%. You got to love the bottling. That is a positive thing. Wow, that really kicks up the bourbon cask. Holy shit. Yeah, not bad. These are some interesting Irishes, man. Thank you, Foodquig. I honestly have to say, I think of these 3, this one might be the one I'm enjoying the most. Just because the casks, I feel like, are much more in harmony than the Gaia, which was a little disjointed. It was a little bit trying to do too much. Oh, yeah. That's awesome. I love those Knob Creek picks. Dude, yes. Nika Coffee Grain is a great one. That's a great one. That one, I think, is better than the Teeling or this, for sure. North Star Spirits is some serious single grain stuff from North Britain and others, says Peter White. Okay. Yeah, I don't think much about single grain whiskeys or about, even blended. I think there's only one blended grain that exists, and that's the Compass Box Hedonism, the Vanilla Bomb. Good whiskey. That's interesting. I'm going to look for some of that. Do any of y'all have any other like single grain whiskeys you recommend? Anything like that? I really enjoy this. It's just the sherry showed up more on the nose than it does on the palate. Speaking of grain whiskey, send me the cast strength Glasgow blend thing. Oh yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, one of the reviews I'm going to do, not this week, but next week, is going to be a head-to-head of the Compass Box Great Artist Street Glasgow blend, which is the peated sherry, cask of that, which is, it's a very, very accessible bottle, around $30. And I'm going to compare it with it's at 43%. And then one of these I have is a Marion cask Compass Box of the exact same whiskey, which is bottled at like 49 point something. So it's got a bit more going for it in ABV. I've not opened it yet. That's going to be fun. I'm going to actually crack that this week and start tasting it a bit before I do that review. I'm going to be really curious to see what the difference is between those two. His hand tied by bourbon pagans because he could step into something better, but they would crucify him. That is how they are. Okay. I see what you're saying. I just go for the Nika. All right. Yeah. You're talking about that, like Nika coffee grain? That's a good whiskey. I think I might be doing a review of that this month, or coming up this year yet still. I think it's on my list. I like that whiskey a lot. That one's maintained its price too. 65 bucks, something like that. Loch Lomond does a single grain. Loch Lomond, interesting. The cheapest 18-year-old single malt I think I've ever found is Loch Lomond. It was like 65 bucks. It's pretty good. Pumpkin notes in it. Really strange. I'm going to try and review that soon too. Yeah, so this is solid. These are some Irish whiskeys. I'm a big fan of Irish whiskey, and these are some that I have never tried before, so it's always fun to try this stuff. Method in Madness. I don't know who makes this, but boy, there's a lot of stuff floating in here. I wonder if this was the cask, or the cork, rather. Naked Grouse isn't single grain, but it may be a grain whiskey. It is a blended malt. Yeah. I have a bottle of it right here. I love the Naked Grouse. Naked Grouse, 43%. It is a blended malt, and it's all first fill sherry, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, first fill Oloroso. Great bargain whiskey. Punches above its weight, $30-some. Good stuff. Good stuff. I don't think that they do a grain whiskey over with the famous Grouse line, but maybe they do. I'm not sure. Okay. All right, y'all. What else we got going on? Single grain whiskey is Old Elk. Yeah, the 100% wheat whiskey. Yeah. I don't feel like digging the bottle out to read what it's called. Yeah, so the Old Elk, I have their wheated bourbon, but I don't have. I saw the wheated whiskey at Vinny's. I didn't buy it. I bought the wheated bourbon instead because they had a barrel pick of it, which I think I actually had sent to Quig. I hope he enjoyed that. I think he might have done that. Jason is doing good financially with his channel to risk it, probably, says Peter. Okay. Are we, Jason? Oh, are you talking about Mash and Drum? I've actually never met him. I don't tune into the bourbon channels quite as much, but I like some of them for sure. I'll have to check his stuff out a little bit more. I do watch his ECBP reviews. Just poured a Glenfiddich 15-year-old Distiller's Edition cast strength. Ooh. Distiller's Edition cast strength. No kidding. That sounds good. All right. What the hell is the Glenfiddich Distillers Edition cast strength? I don't think I've ever heard of this. Is this a Canadian only release or something? It's got to be. I don't think I've ever even heard of that, man. Just one sec. Gotta check something out here real quick. Never was available. Long discontinued. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah, I've never heard of that one. Seriously, yeah. I'll show you a cool Glenfiddich that I have. One sec. Let me grab it. This is, I haven't opened it yet. So I don't know if this is the same thing that you're drinking right now. So this is a Glenfiddich. This is a 15-year-old. This is a distillery bottling. 58.24% ABV. From 2016. It's 15 years old. I believe this is all bourbon and sherry cask. It strangely doesn't say on here. Is this the same thing you're talking about, Peter White? I wonder. I haven't opened this yet. This is kind of a gift. Yeah, it's 15 years old, but it's this is like one of those you can only get it at the distillery type things, I think. Fiddick. Cork on here has seen better days. Shit, that's gonna break when I open it. Single malt Scotch has been aged for 15 years, personally bottled at the Glenfiddich Distillery. Exclusive to Glenfiddich Distillery, et cetera, et cetera. There you go. Haven't opened this one yet. Someday. I don't think it's going to be a world beater per se, but I actually have been increasingly, I really enjoyed some of their experimental series stuff. I've been increasingly of the opinion that, Glenfiddich, I used to would have said, 2 years ago, I would have said Glenlivet over Glenfiddich all day, every day. But now I'm kind of going the other way. Plus they just direct fire their stills. There's a little bit more happening with it. Okay. Not the same one. 58, 51%. Cool. Cast strength Solera. Bourbon sherry. Okay. Cool, Peter. That sounds great. Mission had Old Elk 100% wheat whiskey, cast strength store pick that was 7 years old, made by MGP. Yeah, I think most of their stuff is MGP. Okay. Let's do one more. I think I'm going to leave the samples behind. I think I might go for the revisit that Laphroaig 10 cast strength batch 13. For those of you who were around last night, we uncorked this bad boy, the new Laphroaig 10 cast strength. Best bang for your buck Laphroaig you can get. Although I saw somebody mentioning in Canada it's going over $100. That's scary. Compared it to the batch 4 from about 9 years prior, that one is definitely the winner. Better casks, I think, was my opinion on this. This is a much more straightforward vanilla bomb, but still, it's Laphroaig 10 cast strength. Honestly, I want to sip this because I want to get it down a little bit so the oxidization really starts working, because I feel like there's many delicious mysteries hidden in this bottle. This one, again, 57.9. It's non-chill filtered. They say it here. Great to see that from Laphroaig. Here's what it looked like, by the way. Woo. So much vanilla. Fresh vanilla. Really nice nose. It's just a monster. This is a freaking monster. Somebody, who was it earlier that was drinking the Corey Vrecken? That's the way I feel about every time I revisit Corey Vrecken is the way I feel with these. It's just like they're just unrepentant, absolute peat bomb monsters. This one's no exception. Little bit more oaky and cask driven, which I do think their casks have lowered in quality a little bit. But again, I don't think it's harming this whiskey too much. Is anybody planning on picking this one up? It's not the best release. I think out of the last couple of years, the 10 from about 3 years ago is probably my favorite, followed by last year's 12, then this, then the 11. And I find that you can still find the 10-year-old or the batch 10 and the batch 11 and the batch 12 somewhat regularly. But beyond that, I don't think you're going to be hard pressed to find batch 9s and 8s and 7s too often. Yeah. God damn. That is a winter warmer if there ever is one. Perfect whiskey to be going into a Chicago winter with. I'll tell you that much. You're picking it up for sure. Yeah, I would. I'll be curious what you think about it. I still see the overpriced bottles of 12 a lot. What do you mean by overpriced there, Daniel? Like, what kind of prices are you seeing for those in Texas? Man, there is a nice custardy element to this that I wasn't picking up as much last night than I am now, that I just freaking adore. It's just really good stuff. Yeah, I'd be curious. I mean, I remember when these. Oh, it hurts. I remember when you used to find these. I mean, when I first started finding, looking for these, they were 70, 75. Now, 90, 85. I mean, so you're seeing it creep up, and God, it's seeing it for 105 there, and then some of our friends in Canada are seeing it for like 115. I think Indy said out in Vancouver. God damn, man. For a 10-year-old? I still feel like if you want a Laphroaig in your life, it's worth it. But, the lore is right there too. I don't know. Comparing this with the lore would probably be a good idea, because I think those are like the two that you got to fight over at this price point. Everything else from Laphroaig is in the 300, 400 and above range. Lore is like top of the line for the $100 range. Man, this stuff though. Killer. Yeah, that's what you should be paying for it. Real talk, man. Highs during the day only been in the 50s, bro. I had to close windows in here, man. It was getting too chilly during the daytime, and my cat wasn't having it. Winston's pissed. He can't smell all the smells outside. He's like sitting there pawing at the window, trying to open it. Whoa. Angelinos be freezing. Hey, Cohen. By the way, I got my hands on the 2009 Foursquare vintage. Have you had that one yet? If so, what did you think compared to the 2008 or the 2007? I'll be curious to hear. I grabbed two of them. They're selling them here in Chicago. They're $100, but I found it online for $80. So I grabbed two right away. But they're selling it for, they're like $100 here minus tax. With tax in Chicago, it's probably like 110, which is just like, man, like a little too much. I walked past it 2 times at Binny's when they were $100. I was like, fuck that. I'm not paying $100 for this rum. But then I found online for 80. Bit the bullet on it. But Peter White said pricing in Canada does not mean every province is the same. Okay. Yeah, that's kind of the vibe I've got, right? I mean, so you have the LCBO in Ontario, and then Alberta seems to be like the place to get whiskey, and they will ship to some or all provinces. But then there are other ones like, like Quig out in British Columbia, where they don't necessarily get the same stuff. And I don't know, Manitoba or, Sylvan, who was in New Brunswick. I'm not sure how it's working there, but is that generally right? Like folks in Ontario, you have the LCBO, which is like a state-run store. I know a thing or two about those when I lived in Philly, but you're able to buy stuff from other provinces, like particularly Alberta, and have it shipped to you. Is that how it works? Because in the States, what do you got? 14 provinces in Canada. In the States, you got fucking 50 states, and like every state has crazy laws. So it can be a real challenge here too. Foursquare 2009 hit the shelves today at the local store. They have one more of the 2008. Get the 2008. I think it's better, but we'll see. I want to see what Cohen had to say about it. Not had it. All they have here is the 2008. 2008 is better than 2000. Yeah, I agree. Which is, yep. 100% agree with him. $80 at High Times. That's where I got my first Foursquare, was at High Times when I was out in California, right around this time last year. Yeah, I got the Sagacity from them. I agree. I think the 2008 edges out the 2009, and I think the 2009 edges out the 2007. I agree with you completely. So if you see 2008s, I would buy those. I have a backup. British Columbia and LCBO, which is the Liquor Control Board of Ontario, are probably the worst. Okay. Alberta practices capitalism. The rest of the provinces are communist liquor control. Oh, shit. Yeah, I have the 2008, but Cohen was saying to get more of that. Yeah, I agree. 90, yeah. You're not going to find it much better than that. Hi, Winston. You're not going to find it much better than that. And it's good. I mean, it's delicious. I'll be honest. I keep going back to the Détente and the Sagacity as I almost like more than the 12-year-old bourbon ones, just because I feel like the marriage that they have in the case of the Sagacity with the Madeira, and in the case of the Détente with the port, I just feel like it brings a much more interesting element, and they're less expensive. But for that just killer bourbon cask, those vintage statement Foursquares are just amazing. Every time I pour that for somebody for the first time, they're just like, holy shit. I didn't realize rum could be like this. And that's exactly how I felt. If you go back a year ago to my videos when I was out in Los Angeles for a month and a half, and I was drinking that Sagacity, just like, it was the first serious Foursquare I'd had, and I was absolutely blown away. Zan's in the house. What's up, man? Great to see you. How you been? Good to have you here, sir. We've been drinking some Irish whiskey samples courtesy of Foodquig. Chatting whiskey. We're doing the new Laphroaig 10 cask strength now as a little bit of a closer. At Malt Muser. We need to do another rum night where I finally find a Hampton. Love Cohen was super helpful. Yeah, Cohen will point you in the right direction for rum. I will tell you this. I have a Hampton. It's called the Great House, which was the 2020 release. It's like 60% ABV. That is maybe $110. It's worth it. Winston, what are you doing? Besides running away because you know you're in trouble. This cat's smarter than he seems, man. Smarter than he seems. The Great House is... I bought it out in Jersey. The guy that worked at this store that I went to a lot when I lived in Philadelphia It's called Banash Liquors. If any of you are in Philly or the Jersey area, I highly recommend Banash Liquors. The guy that does most of the work there, he's a real rum head, and he picks, he's the guy to talk to. He picks a bunch of rums and, more like the agricole types. But he took me over, and I thought he was upselling me at first because I was like, I'm not spending $100 on this bottle of rum. Are you crazy? And then I had a sample because a friend of mine had it, and I was like, if you like that funky, yeasty hogo note of those Jamaican rum, the Hampton Great House from 2020 is just mind-blowingly good. I highly recommend it. Yeah, I agree with him on that. I don't know about Smith & Cross. I don't know enough about that one, but yeah, I totally agree. Get the 2009. They're both 60%. So you're getting good value. For sure. Oh, to keep my eye open for that. Excellent. Peter White, Blanche and Mallet. Got some serious single cask rum, but there is a serious price tag that goes with them. I've not heard of that one. I'm not a rum aficionado. What I really buy, what I have as far as rums, I got about 7 different Four Squares. I got a couple Hamptons, and then I have a bunch of these single cask plantations. One is like a Kilchoman finished. One is this Jamaican rum, which I just absolutely love. Slowly trying to find other ones. I think Cohen was telling me about the Black Tot. I have not been able to find an actual bottle, despite Benny's online saying they have it. I haven't been able to find an actual bottle of it, but I've heard good things about that too, mostly from Cohen. Yeah, good call. Yeah, the 2008 is awesome. Really good stuff. All right, yo. I'm going to enjoy the rest of this Laphroaig and sign things off for the night. I do want to give a shout out again to Foodquig for these amazingly generous samples. Thank you for the Irish ones, which we tasted tonight. That was a lot of fun. For folks who are still here, I will mention I have a review dropping Friday of Octomore 10-year-old 4th edition. Looking forward to sharing my thoughts about that one with y'all. And of course, I will be here next week, Tuesday, for Happy Hour Tasty Tuesday. As always, I will have the link posted with that. I'm still working on which whiskey I'm going to do for that one. So looking forward to it. I hope to see everybody there. Until then, everybody stay safe, be well, enjoy good drams, and Solange, everybody. Catch you all next Tuesday. Take care.